day night, and it was a very impressive game from the Super Falcons of Nigeria. They played like a wounded Falcon when they lost their first game against this Bayana of South Africa, and now going into that knockout phase with the fixtures all squared up, and we are going to meet Cameroon, who are one of the qualifiers from Group B. And coming from Coach Randy Wardrum, he says it will be a tough match against Cameroon.
Of course. Well, for the most part, a lot of reports from different corners in the sporting world we're already talking about the fact that, okay, when the Falcons qualify, then we're taking on Cameroon next, the indomitable Lionesses. For me, I thought that was disrespectful to our current opponent, that was Burundi, when we had not yet played them. But of course, the girls went all out and did justice to the game yesterday, and they were able to get maximum 3 points at the end of the day. So what we are seeing here is a situation whereby the Falcons have been mentally prepared, more or less, and they've mentally prepared for the fact that when they're able to cross this hurdle, they would be facing a tough opponent like the indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon. So we're out on Thursday between these two sides, and as for what to expect, well, it's not been easy for any side so far. So good. The Cameroonians themselves haven't had it all in the group stages, but they were top of their group. So that goes to show you that despite all the challenges they might have faced coming here, they were still able to make it out. For the Falcons as well, our first outing was not at all impressive. We rallied back against Botswana. The Mayors of Botswana were able to, get maximum results from there against Burundi as well. But one thing that is obvious to me and you, as well as many other sport-loving fans over the course of this competition, is that when we come up against more technical sides that can really rotate the ball around, there is the possibility that we might really struggle. I mean, take nothing away from the girls. Yesterday they were really brilliant. They were impressive. Everyone was like they were in their element. Most of them were in their element, and they really showed that yes, we can get things done our own way. When Burundi tried to get physical, you could see that the girls were also up to the task, because like I always say, for this Cameroonian side as well, I beg your pardon, they didn't finish I was like, they got 2 draws. I remember the opening 2 draws.
Okay, do you think if the Super Falcons of Nigeria are placed in Group B,
I think the way you approach each opponent is different. So maybe you will have maybe it will be more to go as well in this same group as in this same group where you experience side here. It's even more disappointing to see that Tunisia lost their last 2 games in Group B, 1-0 to Zambia, 2-0 to Cameroon, and Zambia have been quite the revelation here. I mean, if you're coming to your first AFCON tournament and you finish top of your group, then it's only right to give them their flowers. So for Zambia, it seems the football revolution going on in Zambia right now is really paying off some positive dividends. So back to the Super Falcons and coming to face this Cameroonian side. We are looking at a side that considered 1 goal throughout their entire 3 games, and that goal came in a 1-1 draw against Togo. Now Togo are also the bottom side here that have considered 9 goals. So the question is, how do you let a Togo side get 4-1 over you? So I think in that aspect, the Super Falcons, I mean, these are the data that the technical crew of Round the World John will be looking at. But at the end of the day, it still boils down to what the girls can do on the field of play. I don't have any doubt about our girls. It's just the gaffer letting them. That's where the issues come from, because it's obvious to see for all that they are not being utilized to their maximum best. And coming up against a side like Cameroon, yeah, we might have it tough, but I'm positive that this is not where the journey will end for the Super Falcons come Thursday.
All right, we'll play our quarterfinal game on Thursday against the Indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon, and that game will be played 6 p.m. On Thursday. While in the remaining of the quarterfinal fixtures, I will give you the full list of the fixture before we wrap up the show. Now, let's go to the Nigeria Professional Football League, where match day 37 went down across 10 venues in the country yesterday, and apart from MFMFC that was confirmed relegated, officially Kano Pillars are now relegated to the NNL. Let's start from there, Ahmed.
Well, what we saw yesterday across board in terms of results was definitely quite interesting. But that aside, talking about the relegation battle of Kano Pillars, more or less they brought this upon themselves, and they really tested, in my own opinion, the very limits of the rules and regulations and guidelines that is being applied to how the Nigeria Professional Football League is run. So after the incident in match week 35 between Kano Pillars and Dakada FC, the NFF disciplinary committee didn't immediately come out to give their verdict, but now they did that a few days ago, which now brings a lot of us sports pundits to the conclusion that Kano Pillars will be relegated for the first time in 21 years. So the overall gist is that the NFF disciplinary committee, we have the LMC, we have the NFF. So the LMC had already passed their own judgment on Kano Pillars, that's the suspension of the coach and other disciplinary actions that were also given to them. But now the NFF disciplinary committee has now come out again to now also give their own verdict as it concerns them. So the decision at the end of the day, from what we understand, is regarding that match day 31 fixture between Kano Pillars and Dakada FC. For starters, the NFF disciplinary committee adopted the summary jurisdiction of LMC, particularly paragraphs A to G, and they also suspended the match commissioner, the center referee, and the assistant referee one for 1 year from all football-related activities with immediate effect. And that means the center referee at that game, his assistant, the match commissioners, and the referee appointment committees are put on notice. But why this is particularly baffling is, from the results of their findings, why are the match officials getting that suspension? I mean, a lot of arguments coming from different quarters say, of course, you'd expect that those guys did what they had to do, because at the end of the day, you have to stay alive when you're in such hostile environment and nothing. I mean, in the very first place, where is the security that the NFF put on ground? When club sides have their own security, the LMC will have their own security operatives. The LMC will have then the NFF will have their own security operatives as well. So, if these two bodies cannot guarantee the safety of match officials in games, then I think suspending them for 1 year for what they did, which was, of course, is wrong by all means, because the next part of that of the committee's decision talks about the fact that the LMC does not have, the LMC or the NFF does not have the power to reinstate or award a goal that was scored. So the result, unfortunately, at the other end for Dakada FC means it will stay as it was at the end of the night. So I believe this is where the suspension comes in for the referee, because the rules of the game says once the final whistle is blown, whatever the outcome is, the center referee says this game is concluded. That is what we'll go with. So I believe on the part of the referees and the NFF as well, the NFF might feeling okay. Well, no matter what, you shouldn't have given them the goal, since you know that the administrators will not be able to reinstate that goal. So the damage was already done, and they had to pay for it one way or the other. But all in all, we know that the 3 points set that was deducted from Kano Pillars was because when there was match violence against Katsina United, LMC said that was a match day 23 on the 17th of April this year. LMC said that Kano Pillars shall, that's in the future, forfeit 3 points from the accruing points to the club if they execute any other inappropriate actions and other sanctions to follow as well. So, Kano Pillars now, that's why I said it tested the very limits of the rules. So, LMC had come out to tell you as early as match day 23 when there was an issue against Katsina United that, okay, for the remaining 15 weeks of the season, if similar disruptions should happen, you will forfeit 3 points and other sanctions will follow as well. So, Kano Pillars had from match week 23, they went 24, 25, 26, all the way to match day 31, and they committed another offense. So that's like what, 8 weeks after, barely 2 months after the match violence against Katsina United, they still went ahead and still broke the rules again against Dakar FC on match week 31. So when we talk about meting out stiff punishment for fans violence or club officials and other inappropriate actions in the NPFL, and we look at the degree of the penalty, because it needs to be more severe, for being honest, because barely 2 months when you know that you have 3 points that would be deducted and you're fighting for survival in the NPFL, you still have the audacity to still do something like that, then it's obvious that something is wrong somewhere.
For me, over the years, Kano Pillars, they've just been feeling as if they are untouchable, and you know when it gets to the limit, that is what you get. Because after that incident against Katsina United, you still went all the way against Dakada to repeat something similar to that. So that is what they get for what they did. What it means is that officially they've been relegated, because even if they go all the way to win their next game, which is against Shooting Stars of Ibadan, of course Shooting Stars of Ibadan will be traveling away to face Kano Pillars, but you know they have to get at least a draw, talking about the Ibadan outfit, to actually survive the MPFL for next season. So now let's talk about Dakada FC, who still have a chance of making it should they win their next game, and that will depend on what the outcome of Shooting Stars and Kano Pillars play in match day 38, while we talk about Remo Stars and Kwara United as the battle for the third spot, that is the CAF Confederations Cup for next season.
Obviously, for the battle of the third place teams right now in the NPFL, it will definitely go down to the wire, because it's one more match week, and as we have had for the most part of the season, every team holds their own fate in their own hands. At the end of proceedings yesterday in the NPFL across board, of course there were some upsets, but for the most part, the teams that really understood what they were fighting for were able to go all out. And with that, we saw the likes of Remo Stars getting an away win. We saw Dakada FC, resurgent Dakada FC as well, getting a close 1-0 win. Unfortunately for Kano Pillars, they lost their own game as well. While some people might be of the opinion that they probably deserved that. But no, like I said, the Dakada game, defeating Nemba by 2 goals on the road, I beg your pardon, was a shocking result. Plateau United, like we always say, to us, it's more or less like they've given up on the league ever since Rivers United won it less than a month ago. Usual suspect, MFFC lost by 3 goals to Kwara United, who were the host at the Loring Township Stadium, which is their newly adopted home ground. And thankfully, there was no fan violence or anything, because they were banished there for about 8 weeks or 8 match days, I believe. But now they're back home, and they're also allowed to welcome fans. So that's a good one for the Loring outfit. Unfortunately, the fans will only enjoy them for one more game, which is the last one of the season. And I mean, what better way than to close the season and to get a ticket for the for continental football, so that when the next round of CAF Champions League and CAF Confederation Cup starts, you'll be able to bring continental football to Ilorin. But let's see how that will pan out, because Remo Stars on the road were also 1-0 winners against Sunshine Stars. The likes of Enugu Rangers, who lost to Gombe United, Enyimba, who lost to Dakada, have seen themselves falling down the pecking order, and unfortunately for them, time is no longer on their side because that was the penultimate match week, and with this one, the final match week to go, there is only so much that they can do to grab that continental ticket.
And now let's look at the top the goal scorers chart at the moment. 37 matches been played already, and just one more match to wrap up the season. And now we have Chijioke Akuneto at the summit of the goal scorers chart with 18 goals, and followed by Yusuf Abdulaziz, Victor Mboma, both on 16 goals. Now, going forward into the last day of the MPFL season, do you see a shocker coming in for Akuneto, or it's going to remain the same?
I think it's most likely. I think it will most likely end up this way. For Akuneto, he's 2 goals ahead of Yusuf Abdulaziz and Mbaoma of Enyimba, Yusuf Abdulaziz of Gombe. I think Rivers United are quite lucky that someone like Akuneto actually stepped up when he did, because Rafi Ishak has not yet scored for a very long time now, and he's been stuck on that 14 goals. But credit to both of them, Rafi Ishak Kayode and Christopher Kuneto of Rivers United. These 2 attackers have really carried the team. Between them, they shared 32 goals scored for Rivers United out of the total 57 that they scored this season. So
that's massive.
I think, of course, for Rafi Ishak, you'll be disappointed that having led the goal chart for a very long time, he didn't end up with the gong. But, you still feel a little bit proud that his teammate, Chijioke Akuneto. And for Rafi Ishak, he still has time on his side as well. I believe he's just 21 years old. So he still has a lot of time to try to go for it again. And even possibly on a much bigger stage in another different and well-developed league. So for Akuneto, like I said, in the last game, you'll also be coming up against the second highest goal scorer in the league, because it will be Rivers United and Gombe that close out the game for these 2 sides. So you have Akuneto against Yusuf Abdulaziz, and I really don't see how Gombe United will be able to break down Rivers United. But hey, anything can still happen in football, because that's what makes it pretty interesting. But I tell you, I think Akuneto has gone on with this one.
All right, now let's go away from football and let's talk tennis. Over the weekend, it was Novak Djokovic who beat Nick Kyrgios to win Wimbledon title in the men's event. And after going down in the first set, he actually rallied round to win that encounter 4-6, 6-3, 6-4 and 7-6 on center court, and that has moved him one title behind Rafael Nadal's record 22 men's major.
Definitely. I mean, he totally capitalized on the situation of Rafael Nadal's abdominal injury that came out after he defeated Taylor Fritz in the quarterfinals and qualified for the semi-finals, where he was supposed to face Nick Kyrgios for a spot in the final. So barring the abdominal injury to the Rafael Nadal had, we might have seen another Novak Djokovic Rafael Nadal final. And I'll tell you that with the way Djokovic played against Kyrgios yesterday, if it was Nadal at the other end, then we would have a different conversation this morning, talking about Rafael Nadal laying his hand on his 23rd Grand Slam title. But sports generally is about taking your chance when you have it. Rafael Nadal did the same. When Djokovic was not allowed to enter Australia for the first Grand Slam of the year, the Aussie Open, he went ahead and he's not going to say, oh, because Djokovic is not here, I won't play, I won't come. Man went ahead and he did his thing at Roland Garros as well, when they didn't allow Djokovic in France as well. I mean, that's practically Rafael Nadal's ground. He practically went in and demolished everyone. The Wimbledon is one of Novak Djokovic's favorite ground. Right now, he has 6 championships on that court, the second highest, only behind Roger Federer, old Roger himself, who we have also not seen in action for like a couple of years now, unfortunately, and I don't think he actually surpassed that 20 anymore. So for Djokovic, the situation regarding his access to some of the cities, or to the major cities that host the Grand Slam, which has, because of his status, that's the COVID vaccination, which is not, I would say the rules and regulations there are not as light as one would expect. So this has been really affecting Djokovic and his participation in these slams. It remains to be seen if he'll be allowed to play at the US Open, but he was not allowed last year as well. So it was allowed last year, but Nadal, it was this year that the legal troubles began, when they didn't allow him into Australia. So it's very likely that the US Open, the organizers will follow the same line that the ATP has for the Aussie Open and the French Open. And if Djokovic doesn't go for the US Open, then that means we might see Rafael Nadal get another one. But credit to him for getting the Wimbledon this year.
All right, quickly, the Minister of Youth and Sports, Sunday Dare, has confirmed that Nigeria will participate in 9 sports to the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. And in the charter with newsmen in Abuja, the minister said, we are putting our best foot forward, and we decided that based on limited resources and very scientific analysis, we would want to leverage on the sports in which we have our sportsmen and women amongst the top 10 or 15 in the world. So amongst Nigeria will be competing in athletics, wrestling, boxing, karate, table tennis, weightlifting, para-athletics, para-powerlifting, and para-table tennis, among others. Medal prospects include world number 11 table tennis Aruna Quadri, reigning African Games and table tennis champion Omotayo Olajide, alongside 2022 African Table Tennis Cup finalists Fatima Bello, Esther Arabamishe, and Ajoke Ojumo. In athletics, South African 100 meters women's hurdle record holder Oluwatobiloba Amuson, national 100-meter champion Favour Ashe, and Africa's second fastest women's 200-meter sprinter Favour Philly, world under 20 200-meter champion Udodi Onwuzirike are a few of the medal prospects for the country. In wrestling, and Commonwealth champions Blessing Ogboro Dudu and Oduanya Adekunroye represent huge threats to opponents in their different weight classes. These, amongst other immensely talented athletes, will be vying to do Nigeria proud in Birmingham from July 28 to August 8, 2022. Getting these athletes and specifically to contest in sports where we have a huge advantage to actually clinch medal. Do you see this as a good step in the right direction? Because for me, there are other athletes that could have just gone there, get the experience, and then prepare for subsequent championships.
No, I think coming from disappointment of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, it's very, very important that we start to evaluate how strong we are, especially now that we no longer have Blessing Okagbare. We are more or less in that transition period where, well, this always happens to us in Nigeria anyway, and we need to fix that over-dependence on a single talent. I believe giving the experienced legs a go at this one is the right step in the right direction. And it's not like the younger ones don't get their chances as well, because the world of athletics is just opening up. But for a competition as big as the Birmingham Championships or the World Open or the World Athletics Championships in Oregon or the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, we definitely need the experienced legs.
All right, this is where we leave it on this segment of Citizen Sports this morning. Next, we'll now connect you to the Voice of America as we listen to the sunny side of sports.
Friends, we can all listen to the sunny side of sports.
Great show, bro. This is Sunny Side of Sports.
Right here on the Voice of America.
Voice of America.
Sporty greetings to all our Voice of America listeners. This is VOA's Sunny Young in Washington. Welcome to the sunny side of sports. Trailblazing Tunisian tennis player Ons Jabeur tops Friday's show.
Well, it's always about Tunisia somehow. And I want to go bigger, inspire many more generation. Tunisia is connected to the Arab world, is connected to the African continent. The